What's going on, everybody? Hope you all are having a great day out there. Hopefully you're not having a rainy, yucky day like I'm having here. But anyway, so since it's not a day to be outside with the cars, luckily I just got some parts. Came to my door a few minutes ago. Gonna get the Everest 10 crawler back in action again. I know one of the last videos you guys probably saw was I melted a gear case on this thing and melted one of the gears. But I found out that they make an aluminum gear case housing, nice anodized red, and Redcat also makes a set of steel gears for this thing. So I can get rid of the plastic case and the plastic gears and make it all aluminum and metal now. So hopefully it'll hold up a little longer. But I'm not going to bore you guys with every little step of the way here. I'm going to kind of show you what it looks like together in some few different steps. But I'm going to attempt to get this thing back together again because honestly I can't remember how some of this went together now. So this will be fun. Stay tuned, guys. Alright guys, so right now what I'm doing is transferring, taking the bearings out of the plastic gears that they have in here and transferring them over to all the metal ones. So far it's, all this stuff's pretty self-explanatory, but these gears feel really nicely made. The tolerances, everything's meshing up really nice so far. So hopefully this holds up a little better as long as I don't keep it. There isn't a seal. This isn't like, there's no kind of really good rubber seal, but it does have a dished-in lip type setup. So I might even throw a little bit of sealant of some sort, maybe some light bead of caulk or something like that around this edge, just to help keep a little bit of moisture out, because y'all know how I love to run the stuff in the mud and water. But we're gonna finish getting these gears installed and get this thing together. I did have one bearing in here that did not feel very good at all, and this was the one that was running on the plastic and must have melted into it. But luckily I found one random sealed bearing that was the exact same one, so I'm going to use that in here. Alright guys, so I figured I'd bring you back here and show if anybody's trying to do one of these. I've had to mess around with this for a minute to figure it out, but everything else is pretty self-explanatory, changing gears and shafts over and everything. But this top gear here, there's the little line-up pin. You got to push the shaft up through the gear to get this, the little hook lock pin to go in. But it's not long enough. Usually, you can't just slide the shaft through there and it won't go in. You have to loosen up this nut almost to the very end to allow that shaft to push through the rest of this far enough to be able to get the hole up past the gear enough to get that in there. So, just figured I'd let you guys know that, but getting it all together, about to slap this thing together now. I'm going to put a little bit of grease inside the gearbox just to help keep everything lubed up and help maybe keep a little bit of moisture out of there, I guess. I'm not going to make too much, though, because this could get really messy in here. So, I'm going to put a few dabs in here on the other side, but that's it, guys. I'm going to get this thing together now. Alright, so I'm just getting the first few screws in the gearbox here. You got these brass spacers that go up at the top, and then the nut in the bolt one goes on this hole here. But there's three of these with the brass shims or brass spacers. There's this one, and the one down here. Alright guys, what do you think? It's a nice gear case. It looks pretty good. Very smooth. Far better than even the stock one when it was new. I mean, this thing just spins so nice and free with those nice metal gears in there. So I think this is definitely going to be a winner. So everything's metal now. I changed out the metal spur gear. Now it has the aluminum case. It has all metal gears. Changed out any of the bearings in here. So the gear case should be in good shape now. So now we're going to start working the other direction and getting the motor mounted up to this. And get it mounted back to the motor mount, I guess this is what you call this. But, alright, let's get started. Alright, we got the motor mounted up to it. Got the mesh set. Feels pretty good. Just that little bit of slop in there, so it's not tight. So, feels pretty good. But everything's smooth, spinning nicely. Keep moving along. Yeah, we're just going to remove that. That's better. Alright, we got the motor mounted up to the plate. Getting close. We're getting there. Well, it's time to bring the dirty Everest 10 over here. I guess I should have washed this thing before I tore it apart, but now it can just leave chunks of dirt all over the place. Good times. Side note, wash your stuff before you tear it apart. So if you haven't ever torn one of these apart, or thinking about it, it's kind of a juggling act because they have the motor mounts with the screws that are the same ones as your links here. So the screws that hold these on are the same things that hold your motor mount in. So it's kind of a crazy setup, really. I wish there was some separate screws that just held this in there so you weren't trying to get all the wheels lined up properly and stuff at the same time while screwing this in. It's kind of a little goofy, but I guess they were trying to limit screws and cost, I'm sure. It was made in China after all. Well, guys, I'm just going to say this. Be prepared for a little bit of frustration putting this thing back together. At least, maybe I did it wrong, and that's very well possible. But getting everything lined back up again and getting the drive shafts in and everything all lined up and put in place before you start getting all these side screws in here is just insanity. You know, I started with one over here and tried to get everything. It's a little frustrating. It's not terrible, it's not impossible, obviously, but it's a little frustrating, just so you know. But I would figure I'd let you know one thing that I seem to find made it a little bit easier trying to get everything lined up was get everything on except the front drive shaft, and then you can kind of get everything else moved into place. And then I put this on last, and it seemed to make it a little bit easier. But like I said, I may have been doing something wrong with my order. First time doing this, having this thing completely torn down, so it's a learning experience, like it all is. But, alright, well, we're going to get the top plate mounted up. Almost got this thing back together. Alright, well, it's about ready to go together. All I got left is a few wires. I'm going to get all the wires hooked up and get my servo reverser cable in here, and that's about it. A couple wires left, and she's back in action again. Alright, guys, so she is all back together. Only thing left now is slap a battery in it. See if it works. I'll take it outside and wash the tires off in the rain a little bit. But that's everything. It's all back together. Got the nice red aluminum gearbox in there now. Hopefully this thing holds together a little better. One other thing I wanted to add. I have a set of 12mm wheel extenders coming for this thing. So I can widen this thing out a little bit. So maybe it won't be so, doesn't want to tip so easily. Let's figure I'd widen it out a little bit and see how I like it that way. So that'll be here probably tomorrow or the next day, but I'll throw up the part numbers in the description of everything that I used in this video today. So if anybody else wants to get the same stuff for theirs, you can just order the part numbers. All right, guys, time to see if we put this thing back together right. Boy, that gearbox sounds a lot better now. It's so much smoother. Wow. With upgrading the motor on this thing to a little bit more torquey motor that I put in this thing, it's definitely better off to go with the steel gears anyway. But it sounds good. For a crawler, it's running pretty decent. Well, I'm happy with that, guys. Well, we're going to take this thing back out again here soon. Take it to some... I'd really like to take it out to that one place I went out on the motorcycle, the McConnell's Mills, where there's all those rocky hills and a lot of nice terrain out there. I think that's where I might try to take this thing next time. But that is it for now. The Everest is back in action again and running. Makes me happy. So actually, all of my cars right now are currently fixed and working. I don't think I have any broken ones. That's a miracle right now. Alright guys, well, the Everest 10 is back in action and better than ever. Really happy got that aluminum gear case and the metal gears now. This thing should hold up pretty well, I'm hoping. Looking forward to taking this thing out, hitting some rocks, some mud, whatever I can get myself into. Always have a lot of fun with the crawler. And I didn't really know if I was going to enjoy doing a crawling thing, but you know, it's just kind of fun. It's nice days to just slow it down and go out and just play around with this thing. It's a good time for sure. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, guys. Y'all be safe out there. Be safe. Peace out, everybody.